All right, well, as I have mentioned before, filling in diagrams like this is really quite a effective way to remember the basic motivational concepts we've been talking about. And as always, we are always still going to be talking about the whole idea of biopsychosocial constructs around hunger. And that's basically what I want to fill in as we are talking here about hunger itself. The biological influences, and this is really just a good way to summarize a good bit of it, is biological influences. We mentioned the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus and its role in brain monitoring and monitoring of appetite. And so it is monitoring all these basic functions internally. We also mentioned the appetite hormones of ghrelin and orexin and PYY. Stomach pangs. The stomach itself secretes a hormone that trigger further drive reduction, if you will, in terms of hunger. We also mentioned weight set point, and settling point, which are key concepts in weight management, settling point. Another one is basically our attraction to sweet and salty taste. Some people have more of a sweet tooth than others do. Some people like sweet and then they counterbalance it with something salty. And then the other aspect here is what we refer to as an adaptive wariness to new foods or novel foods. And that is just built into us until we actually try something to novel foods. And that's, like I said, it's kind of built into us to do that. Now, in terms of psychological influences, sight and smell, all the senses get into the act. Sight and smell of foods. If I had you conjure up a picture of your mom's or Thanksgiving Day meal of pumpkin pie and turkey and etc., we can provoke that in you even while we do this. Even we could provoke you. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We can provoke you into actually beginning to salivate at the thought of that particular meal, which isn't really all that far away, unfortunately. Variety of foods, what ones do I have at my disposal that are influence are the psychological influence aspect of it. Memory. Don't forget about memory. How do you remember what is your favorite food? Well, memory plays a role, and the sensations and tastes and so forth all contribute to the sight and smell, contribute to the memory of it. Stress. We oftentimes refer to some foods as comfort foods, and so stress and mood come into play. And then finally, the last one in this component part is just food unit size, how much we actually eat. Most recommendations when it comes to eating and food ingestion really it centers around the actual amount we eat at any one given point in time. The last one is socio-cultural influences, culturally learned taste preferences. You can go to different parts of our country even and see very different culturally learned preferences. You can see different likes and dislikes for different kinds of food. You go to New Orleans, and you'll see a different food that people really like a lot down there, whether it's seafood or other things like that. And then go to way up north, and you might find something very different, a dish that they're interested in or have. For example, I used to live in the northern, the UP of Michigan, and up there, the Finnish had a huge impact on the culture up there. They were mostly miners, and it was a copper mining area. And there is a food, a prepared food called a pasty, and basically it was I don't know how you describe it. It was a little bit like not really a muffin, but more like a pastry that was packed full of a variety of vegetables. One of them specifically being rutabagas, but it was high in carbs, and it was high in just the comfort foods we're accustomed to. But it basically was designed for the workers to take into the mine and be able to have the energy and the fuel that they needed to be able to do their work. So the other one is really culturally based body preferences, culturally based body shape preferences. And you will find that, again, if you go to different parts of the world, you will see perspectives about what is indicative of somebody who is of the higher class versus the lower class. And these are all very much driven along by culturally based expectations about body types and how they eat and what eating behavior is actually expected.